will a medical doctor work for 9 months, 16 months, 19 months without getting paid?
But you see how much kidnappers are eating from victims.
My thing is, government should, I think all the stakeholders in that sector, they need to be spoken to, and we sit together and agree to them. The 3% for the oil producing community is too low.
So it is support that is needed. And once you get the support, your airlines will blossom.
This is Nigeria. You need to give people sense of belonging.
Good morning, everyone. How there? This is another edition of Inside Nigeria at the Leadership Podcast Studio on the last day of August 2021. Of course, I'm with my regular co-host, Winifred Ogbebo.
Good morning, viewers out there, and welcome to Inside Nigeria on the last day. But how time flies.
Honestly speaking,
it's the last day of
August 31st.
And we are about to enter the Ember month.
The Ember month in the next few hours.
All
right. We are in the studio with our regular analyst, Samaila Musa. Samaila Musa is an Abuja-based public affairs analyst. Samaila, welcome to Leadership.
Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. You answer our call every time. And of course, our viewers, we are starting as usual with Nigeria's most influential newspaper, The Leadership. On the front page of Leadership this morning, conflicting ex parte orders. Chief Justice of Nigeria moves to Save Judiciary, summons 6 chief judges. Conflicting ex parte orders. CJM moves to Save Judiciary, summons 6 chief judges. And of course, as Samaila, the CJN is summoning the chief judges of Kebbi, Jigawa, Imo, Cross River, Rivers to Abuja to come and explain why the judges under them actually entertain certain cases they ought not to entertain, or giving conflicting orders, court of coordinate jurisdiction giving conflicting orders. This is an embarrassment to the judiciary. Do you believe that?
Yeah, it is, in all honesty. But you see, one wouldn't say it is late. It's never too late to actually do something in the right direction to, correct all the anomalies. But you see, this has been going on for maybe like 15 years now or thereabout, if not more than. Each time we're approaching an election year, you hear all manner of conflicting court judgments. You see, our politicians have actually turned the court of law to like a supermarket where you just go in, just like you are shopping for commodities, you shop for judgments. And unfortunately, the judges, a legal profession is something they always pride themselves to say learned people. And when they begin to act like as if they are illiterate, it actually baffles one. And, especially when you are holding a position of a judge, for instance, one will expect you that you have a reason above board to some certain extent to say, oh, there are some scandal that should be found around you as a judge. You're the same person who will sit down to judge on issues, or, to say, oh, you're the one who is guilty, you're the one who is right. It's also found doing the same thing. That's how much corruption we found in the judiciary. And you see, they always say that the judiciary is the hope of the common man, but it's no longer the case, because which hope if I can walk in to buy judgments like as if I'm buying stuff? So really, it's actually sad to note that our judiciary has been turned to a supermarket of some sort. And this has been going on for a very long time. And it's always come to its peak whenever the elections are coming around the corner. And you see, they know for a fact that to get an ex parte motion, you need to go to a higher court or you appear before that same court and say, you understand, you appeal it, but you just go in, you call your own judge. Some of them have turned our judges to errand boys. They call them to their bedroom and say, what does it take to get this? You understand? So it's really unfortunate. And I think it's timely. The CJN has done the right thing in the right direction, and we hope that this thing will actually come to a stop, because it's actually making us to make Nigeria a laughing stock before the world. it's really an embarrassment.
It is, because yesterday on the program we talked about it, and we did call on the CJN to step in to save the judiciary, and he actually did so, which is very, very commendable. But at the end of the day, I hope they will be able to nip it
At the board,
finally.
But do we blame the judges alone? What about the people who are hell-bent in putting the judges in trouble? I mean, the politicians.
But you see, the problem is this: the politicians, by right or by crook, they want to get what they want to get.
Exactly.
So you need to stand firm. You, as a judge, for instance, you understand?
The
You
judge
need
should be more disciplined than
more
the
disciplined than the
politicians.
politicians. Politicians, we all know they are corrupt. In fact, we
Yeah.
are hoping on the judiciary to begin to curb some of their
It's supposed
excesses.
to be the bastion of hope.
You understand,
for the
really?
people.
All right, Winifred, on the front page of Leadership again, there's a cheering news for us at the Leadership media group.
Oh
The
yes.
story of Le Vogue, and below the
Yes.
masthead of Leadership is a cheering news. Leadership lifestyle magazine, Le Vogue, returns.
Yes, that is cheering.
A general interest and lifestyle magazine from the stable of Leadership will return from next week, September 9, 2021. And of course, it will be unveiled at the annual Leadership Conference and Award at International Conference Center here in Abuja. So Abuja's fashionista, people of class, now have a platform
Yes.
to showcase,
To showcase.
their style.
Yes.
Sharing news from
It
us.
is indeed a cheering news, but the fact that humans, you can't run away from style. Everyone has style. So Leadership Le Vogue magazine is going to pave the way for that.
Samantha, our magazine is not new. It was first started in 2008, and after 6 years, it was rested in 2014. And now
It's coming back.
we went back to the drawing board. We strategized. We are set to return it to the newsstand with a new design and a richer content. So you can only wish us good luck.
Yeah, that's a good one. And I wish you the best in that regard.
All right, Winifred, let's talk about economy.
Yes, National Economy. That is a sister publication of Leadership newspaper. And today, Tuesday, National Economy has front page cover. Harsh economic climate grants local private jet operations. Harsh economic climate grants local private jet operations. And on the rider, number of active aircraft drops by 75%. Subsector loses $5 billion in 18 months.
I don't really understand, Samantha. Just a few days ago, it was reported about 100 private jet landed in Kano for the wedding of the president's son Yusuf in a nearby Bichi. You understand? And now we have a story saying that harsh economic climate grounds local private jet operation. How do we reconcile this?
Maybe some of them were actually brought in for the purpose of that wedding.
Or maybe we used to have more than 200, and now the 100 that landed in Kano are the only active ones.
Well, perhaps. But you see, the COVID issue is really a big one, and
It's affected the whole aviation economy.
The whole aviation
Sector,
economy,
yes.
from the big to the small ones. In fact, up to the people who are just ticketing agents, really, it's affected them. So many of them actually couldn't even afford a 2 square meal at a point, because when people don't travel by air or there are restrictions, even the country where you want to go, you are not welcome. So
Exactly.
where actually are you going? When people also find it difficult to travel for even medical trips that they normally do, maybe routine checkups and all of that, become almost impossible, because of the sanctions in the countries where you are going. We might find it very easy here. Everything goes in Nigeria, but some other places don't take it lightly, So really, it's affected every facet of that industry, really. But you see, with the Nigerian issue is actually a funny one sometimes, because there are people who are actually operating or who have this private jets who actually don't have the need for them. People have 4 or 5, and you're wondering what is it actually for. So when things like this happen, because they're also counted, they are part of the people who make up these numbers we're actually hearing. Having issue, they really don't have any business in the aviation industry, because I don't see any reason why you should have the costs of having, what you pay on the hangar alone is something,
Enormous.
you understand, is outrageous. So sometimes you feel, why not you just plug these funds into other aspects of the economy? I mean, how many people are actually traveling private jets in Nigeria, except when you have occasions like this where everybody want to show off and stuff like that. But by and large is that COVID has affected virtually every facet of our economy, and aviation is also not left out. You know.
All right, Samantha, we need to see what we have on the third paper on our menu this morning. And of course, that is the front page of the Punch. On the front page of the Punch this morning is a different matter entirely, and an important matter that concerns all of us. Strike. ASU accuses federal government of deceit. As minister explains, payment delay. ASU accuses federal government of deceit. As minister explains, payment delay. Government dishonest, transferring money from CBN shouldn't be difficult. Varsity lecturer insists. We will make our decisions known. Today's ultimatum stand, Academic Staff Union of Universities. And of course, the Light Rider, government pursuing CBN to disburse revitalization fund, says Education Minister. Samantha, how long does it take for government to disburse funds?
You see, I think we actually need to look, we need to look beyond just about what we're having at this time. I've been hearing of these issues right from when I was a child. It's never resolved once and for all. So there's so much deceit either on the part of the government and the part of the leadership of those the ASU union and all of that, because I can beat my chest 100% that some palms are being greased at time, because the time they are supposed to just stand firm and stand their ground for these things to be resolved, they probably collect something behind and say, okay, let's do this, let's just to douse the tension.
Like suspending the evil.
You understand? So you're just buying time. And you see, it's actually, when they say when two elephants are fighting, the grass suffers. You need to look at the plight of Nigerian students. And that's why some people have to even borrow money to send their kids outside this country to go for education. And unfortunately, you hear places like Benin Republic here that should be coming here to come and learn. Their universities, 80% of their students are Nigerian students because of all these issues that we have in here. Not because we don't have, quality lecturers, but because you can't even tell when the child is going to graduate eventually. So why not they sit down and iron what's the problem? Once and for all. Every time, once this is resolved in the next max 2 years, you hear the same problem coming up again.
At the same time, that NMA has also given its ultimatum.
Yes.
So that's right.
That's another issue.
That's why the fact that resident doctors are already on strike.
And even when some of them are still feeling, okay, if we can't get what we need here, we also want to travel. The DSS had to go and disperse them when they interview.
Even though they debunked it, but something happened at that place, and it was not done by ghost.
But sorry, Smiler, my take is that the federal government is agreeing too soon to some of these demands, because when they are bent, they bend their hands. The federal government and backward. It has no choice, because if you see the demands of ASU, I mean, it will take a lifetime of this nation to pay it to them. The same thing goes to NMA. The same thing with NAT. So where is the resources coming from to meet every sector's demand?
But Winifred, these demands are there for ASU or for the advancement of the education sector?
Yes, but the federal government also has an organization like TED Fund. TED Fund is also catering to the needs of lecturers and to the tertiary institutions, to universities too. But these ones, they are not taken down into cognizance. So if you look at the money, the momentous amount they are demanding, I mean, where's the federal government going to get money to
you see, I think within all the parastatals in the Ministry of Education, there needs to be serious synergy. Exactly. Because you see, TED Fund, I can tell one of the major reasons why this man that is leaving the outgoing man in Bogoro was brought back was he was able to go outside the shores of this country to source for funds for TED Fund. You understand? And that was how so many projects were being done, during his time, his first tenure then, in universities and all of that. He was sourcing for funds all over the place.
TED Fund came about to meet lecturers' demand. During an interview, disclosed this. So TED Fund is actually one of the demands that
you see why this problem.
You understand?
Why this problem will continue to linger is you are claiming no money. If tax fraud is actually brought about to also cater for some of these demands,
Yes.
you are building projects every day.
Yes.
Money are being released for projects, but money are not being released to the needs of the
Human
lecturers.
capital.
Lecturers
You
too
know.
are sponsored when they are going abroad for PhD. Do you know they are giving money by tax fraud?
Yeah.
One way
They are
the
also
other,
giving
are
money for
beneficiaries.
research. Exactly. For their doctorate, they are giving money.
Yeah.
They are beneficiaries.
But you
direct
see,
by
I think one of the
beneficiaries.
major things is to look at what can stem this issue, or what can actually solve this problem once and for all. Maybe you need to suspend all those traveling abroad to say, okay, look, we're having this problem with you guys. It's just a few of you are benefiting from this system. Why not we do something that will make this thing go round, so that this ASU strike today, ASU strike tomorrow will come to an end. You know, so there needs to be readjustment somewhere.
Yeah, and I
to
think
say yes.
again, Samaila, it is important that whenever the government sits at the round table with workers and make agreement, append signature to that agreement,
Yeah.
it is incumbent on you
Yeah.
to fulfill your own side.
And
of the
you know,
bargain. And that has been
governance is continuous.
Exactly,
You know?
that has been the problem in this instance. You make a promise, you don't fulfill the promise. Samaila, we need to go on a short break. When we come back, we will continue to dissect leading stories on the front pages. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back. It's still inside Nigeria, Tuesday, 31st August 2021. Of course, we are still in the studio with our analyst, Samaila Musa. All right, Winifred, what is on the front page of the Punch this morning?
Yes. Punch newspaper this morning says strike. ASU accuses federal government of deceit as minister explains payment delay.
Well,
Strike.
we
ASU
discussed our
accuses
Punch
FG.
already.
Yes.
So we need to move to
it's
the
true.
nation.
To the nation.
Yes, the nation.
Okay, the nation says Mark panel links PDP crisis to Wike second dose. Mark panel links PDP crisis to Wike second dose. And on the right there, we have reconciliation team seeks withdrawal of cases. NBA, conflicting rulings ridiculous. CJN invites Rivers, Cross River, Kebbi, Jigawa, Anambra, Imo CJs over contradictory orders. You know, that was what we saw in leadership.
Previously, yes.
Previously.
But the main story here is the PDP crisis, and the chairman of a special panel set up to look or to settle this crisis, the former Senate President David Mark has discovered that the people at the bottom or the people responsible for the party's crisis are Rivers State Governor Yesin Wike, and of course, the embattled PDP National Chairman, Prince Uche Secondus. What is your take?
Yeah, you see, it's the normal godfather,
Godson Wahala.
godson problem that we always have, that we're used to in Nigeria, that is actually also playing out here. But you see, my take is this. Sometimes because you need to be fair to both sides. If you feel you wouldn't need me as your godfather, don't call me for that support you need ab initio, because it's also some kind of betrayal in the long run. You understand? Then the godfathers also should know that perhaps, because I want to believe you, it's because you feel I have the capacity to run this thing, that's why you want to back me up to become this. Especially the type that you have between the godfather and the governor when he eventually, I feel, okay, do you feel in your mind that I am capable of this position, or you're looking for a dummy to put there? You understand? Because if you feel I'm capable, why not you allow me to run the show?
Exactly.
You understand? Since you have actually done your own, and it's my turn now to actually take over. But you see, in this case, I really don't know, because both of them are not coming out to state categorically this is where the problem, because when you look at all the statements and everything, it is not enough actually to cause this kind of big problems we're having. But I think there's also ego problem in this issue between Wike and Secondus. Of course, Wike is feeling, look, you from nowhere, I made you. From the state level to national, I made you all the way. You understand? And I don't know, Secondus is also feeling, well, now I'm there and I need to, because I've been the chairman of the PDP. He also felt he has also spread his tentacles all around the place that he can withstand. But of course, there's also a third force in their issue. You see, just the normal thing that plays out in politics. Once I know that we have a common enemy, then I become your friend automatically. So some other persons who have, their pound of flesh, some other things to sort out with Wike will also cash in now to say, oh, we are behind Secondus. Not really because they like Secondus just to fight Wike. And the same thing, some other persons are feeling, no, let Secondus leave. Even though I don't like Wike, but let's team up to fight him. But the implication of this whole thing is that PDP should be able to learn that it's not too long ago that it came out of a crisis, a court issue that almost sank the party. Almost virtually everybody believed that PDP is gone forever. Nobody even believed that it's going to bounce back. So they should take that to say, oh, we've learned our lesson, the hard way, and this time around we wouldn't want that mistake to happen. So it's the earlier the better for them. Let everybody just forget about this, their ego, and for the larger interest of the party, if actually that is also in their mind, they should forget all those things and try to move the party forward. That's my take.
So many people are of the opinion that because Wike seems to be the financier of the party, so he has the party in his pocket, and so it's what prompts him to be, to have this ego.
No, can Wike even be a financier of the party?
At the point he was. At the point he was, when PTB was sinking, he was the only person left to start financing all the court processes, paying the lawyers. As a matter of fact, we have it from reliable sources that he also paid his way into the Supreme Court as well. Those allegations, but you see, nothing is not possible in Nigeria with all these things we're seeing in the judiciary right now. But you see, essentially is that there are some people who are sitting on the fence. Even when those issues were going on, they're just waiting to see where this whole thing will end.
Yes.
So the man is also saying, look, when we needed you the most, you all ran away. So don't come back now and start dictating. They say he who pays the piper dictates the tune. So really, sometimes you just want to give it to him to say, please, this guy tried his best. You understand? But of course, when it comes to party issues, you should know there are limits as well. That, oh, this is our party, not your party. So these are where they need to actually checks. There should be checks and balances in that regard.
Thank you so much.
Well, for me, Samaila, if one person has helped the party at one point or the other, is that enough reason to rock the boat of the same party.
No, well, that's why I said to you that everybody needs to know their limits. That it's not my party; it is our party. So when you know your limit, that you are also a member of that party, which means the party as a body, you belongs to everybody.
All right, many thanks to you, Samaila Musa, an Abuja-based public affairs analyst, for creating time to join us on Inside Nigeria this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Well, to you listener out there, we'll go on a short break. When we come back, we shall be talking about an issue dominating the media space this morning, the move by the Chief Justice of Nigeria to sanitize the judiciary. And of course, we shall be joined by Barrister Victor Okangbe, an Abuja-based legal practitioner of over 30 years experience. He shall be talking on this issue. When we come back, we shall be back shortly. Yes. Welcome back. It's still Inside Nigeria, and we said earlier we have been joined by Barrister Victor Okangbe, an Abuja-based legal practitioner of over 30 years. Barrister Okangbe, welcome to Inside Nigeria.
Welcome.
Pleasure.
All right. We are talking about an issue dominating the media space this morning, the issue of conflicting court orders by Court of Coordinate Jurisdiction and the move by the CJN, Justice Muhammad Tanko, to rein in the affected judges. Let's start with the ex parte order. Take us through. What is an ex parte order?
Well, an ex parte order is an order given in times of extreme necessity for such interventions of the court. Assuming, for instance, this is leadership complex and there is a move by the government or a title holder who claims, title to this land. When you have this land, it's a conflict, or in such conflict, and it just goes to the authorities, and the authorities are about to demolish this structure. I mean, because of the extreme necessity now to preserve the rest. The rest means the subject matter of an action or a suit, as the case may be. Because the urgent need to preserve that rest, leadership newspaper can approach the High Court of the FCT
To get
for an ex parte order without putting either the government or the third party that has gotten the order of the government to demolish the structure without hearing you. So it's because of the necessity to preserve the status quo ante, pending when the matter is heard by the courts. That is in one of such cases that you can have ex parte orders, granted by the courts to save the petition itself or the matter itself.
So is this intervention of the CJN, is it necessary or undesirable?
Yes, in a way it is necessary, and in another way it may not be desirable. Yes, let me start from the desirability aspect of it. The CJN is the chairman of the National Judicial Council. It's either he is coming in as the chairman of the National Judicial Council, because the National Judicial Council is the national body that disciplines, appoints, and regulates the conduct of judges. It's not a CJ of a state, because each state has its own chief judge and its own judiciary. They are not subject to the whims and caprices of the Chief Justice of Nigeria. The Chief Justice of Nigeria cannot discipline a High Court judge in Ogoja, where I come from, or in Boki, my local government, right? But the National Judicial Council, as a body in which even members of the Nigerian Bar Association are members, we call it a body of benchers. Some senior lawyers who have held positions like at the regional federation before, some senior advocates of Nigeria who have been there for like the past 50 years, people like Kano Agabi and the rest of them. So some of them are members of these bodies, because the NBA sends 3 representatives to the National Judicial Council, because that's a council that issues of law and lawyers and judges are being deliberated upon. So, I mean, to that extent, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, sitting as the chairman of the council, can act on the resolution of the council, not the Chief Justice of Nigeria sitting as Chief Justice of Nigeria. So I've not really followed up what is the real issue, whether he is inviting them in his capacity of the CJN or in his capacity as the chairman of the council. In which case, if he's to do so, it is the secretary of the council, Oye, that does the announcement to say you are invited by the National Judicial Council to appear. But I think it's just about consultation.
So in a nutshell, what you are saying is that if it's the CJN that sent for these judges, it's an aberration?
Yes, if it is a CJN, in his capacity,
yes,
not personal now, because even as CJN is not a personal capacity. As justice, different from justice as a judge, but in his capacity as the Chief Justice of Nigeria, he's still official. But then, that dual capacity, chairman of National Judicial Council and Chief Justice of Nigeria, when he sits in court, in the Supreme Court, he's the Chief Justice of Nigeria. Even in the Supreme Court, there are things he cannot do as the Chief Justice of Nigeria. Because judges generally are disciplined by NJS, not the heads of courts. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
I do.
Because judges are it's not like they hold the stick. A judge can pronounce, if you have a case of murder, it depends on the facts, and you may be roped into a matter that will need a life sentence, that will need a sentence of death and all that. And judges, a High Court judge has the judicial authority to handle such cases. So a High Court judge in Karamoda and a High Court judge in Ikorodu, Lagos, and another High Court judge in somewhere in Sokoto, Wakama village, what do you call it? Womako village, or local government in Sokoto, Boki local government in Cross River State, and Brochu in Delta State. All of those judges, they have the same jurisdiction as far as their areas, territorial jurisdiction of the courts are concerned. And then the judicial That is the power of the court to act on certain issues, certain matters, probate, action relating to torts, criminal matters, commercial and maritime cases, and all of that. It's only in special cases that you have the Federal High Court, by the amendment to the Constitution, had special jurisdiction on matters between the federal government and the state governments, and between federal agencies and individuals. And then some of the jurisdiction of the High Court is limited to that extent. So the point I'm trying to make now is that courts have their own internal regulatory system, all of the jurisdictions. Because we are state High Court, as headed by the chief judge of the state High Court, the chief justice of the federation does not have any legal basis to interfere in a matter before a High Court, or before a judge. But the nice thing I have come to realize about this invitation is that the CJN is not inviting the judges involved. Rather, he's inviting the heads of those courts.
Yeah, these are
where these issues
conflicting orders emanated
from.
All right, Barrister Okangi, let me take you to tax. As a legal practitioner of over 30 years, let's talk about the rules. Now, I know when filing a suit before a court, you file a suit in pursuant to rules, certain rules of the court.
Yes.
You're filing a case at the Federal High Court, there are rules of the Federal High Court. You're filing a case at the magistrate, there are rules of the magistrate. So you file a suit pursuant to the extant rules of the court. Now, what do the rules say about conflicting suits and filing of suits?
Okay, no. These are issues that are not governed by rules. These are issues that are governed by legal authorities. The Supreme Court has laid a foundation for courts of coordinate jurisdiction. Any order given by a court of coordinate jurisdiction is to the extent of that inconsistency. No, because, for instance, if I come in here, like I just liken a situation in this office now, and we have a judgment that the power, the certificate of occupancy that enable this office or this company to build this edifice now, and a court, it has been concluded in a court of competent jurisdiction in Abuja here. You cannot leave Abuja here with the same parties now. You originate the same subject matter, maybe in Nasarawa State. It will be an abuse of court process.
Okay.
In such cases, either the state chief judge there or the affected party can complain to the NJSC for either to discipline the judge or to discipline the lawyer involved.
Okay.
Yes.
So, sir, in all this, who is to blame? Is it the bar or the bench?
Yes, to a very large extent, lawyers are to be blamed.
Okay.
Because that's what we've been doing for so many years now, 32 years now. I discovered that a lot of us colleagues, because of, I don't know,
Personal
place for whatever, money or whatever, I don't know, they engage in forum shopping. What do I mean by forum shopping? You want a case, you take a case from this court, from Abuja to Kebbi to Lagos to Zamfara and all that, just because you just want to delay a process or unsettle somebody. Like the case of this PDP we are talking about here. I've heard people talk about Wiki and all that. You see, politics is different from constitutionalism,
Okay.
rule of law, and due process. Wiki may be a very good governor in terms of delivering projects. That does not make him a good lawyer, and that does not make him a good administrator in judicial issues. If you don't like the face of the chairman that you help to impose on PDP for whatever reason, you don't take such stance to twist the judge in your state. Because if Wike, I'm sorry, I just have to be very frank, because he is putting those judges in trouble. You cannot remove somebody on the basis of an ex parte order. That means the substance or the substantive matter has already been dealt with. Now they have put secundos, whom I don't even support for any reason, but is entitled to his rights as a Nigerian. They are putting him on a defensive position because he is the one now fighting to come back. Whereas if the judges have asked the lawyers to put the in this case now the respondent, that is second to now, on notice, serve him the papers, let him come and show cause why that order should not be granted. Secondly, will now bring his papers to show the court or that no, it's not true. What these people are saying is not true. It's not that I did this, I did that. The committee may not have even been established or put in to even discipline him in accordance with the rules of the PDP. I'm sure they didn't do all that. And these are the kind of things that we cry, both in the PDP and the APC. And if we allow this to stand, then we as much as tomorrow anybody can just come here, get an expert and ask you to pack out of this place.
Okay, but there are stakeholders who also express fear that the impact of these controversies, talking about conflicting court orders, will not be felt by the judiciary alone. It can as well affect the whole polity.
Yes.
2 weeks ago, we hosted a high-ranking official of INEC who expressed the fear that forum shopping by politicians might threaten the 2023 general election. You share in that notion?
Very well, very well. Just like I cited the instance of this office. And I'm just being, I'm domesticating my argument because we're talking, it's a kind of dialogue. You know, in 2023, someone can just go, like what happened in 1993. Justice Ikpeme, may her soul rest in peace. She's a judge I knew very well. She was a judge I knew very well. It was just an ex parte order that nullified the June 12 election. An ex parte order after Abiola had won that election, and look at the crisis that followed and how the country had to go through a lot of upheavals until the death of Abacha. So you can understand. So let us not, sweep these issues because it is PDP today. No, the government must rein in these judges and ask them to, whether it is APC or PDP, they must behave themselves and not be used as willing tools in the hands of politicians.
And also, so we are also seeing a situation whereby elections now are being run through the courts instead of ballot. So, what is your take on that? It's still the same judiciary process.
Yes, the problem with we Nigeria. I'm sorry, I just came out of a process last night that I was a member of a committee in a political party where they say we should talk about zoning without people voting for anybody. So some person just came out with figures and resolutions and even said, apart from myself and a few other members, some are lawyers, some are not lawyers, distinguished former members of National Assembly, about 6 of us, they said, apart from 6 of us, the other 18 or so have voted in favor. And out of the 18, about 12 are saying they never voted for anything. So I don't know. You see, that's the problem, because I'm talking about a local government issue before you get to a state and then come to the country. We are in real trouble in this country because our politicians don't seem to play by the rules. They don't seem to play by the rules. They are not interested in even the rules of their own constitution. So the court will always continue to intervene because justice is the last hope of the common man, not just the common man, even the very big man. Because even as a governor, when they're about to finish you, you rush to court.
But do you see justice being done in a transparent manner now, like we are having?
No. Honestly, the majority of Nigerian judges are good. Let me tell you, when you go for orders like this kind of orders, you now locate a particular judge. You understand? I'm just talking as a lawyer now. Lawyers are the ones that will advise a client on which judge to file the case in his court. For instance, it was a Degema court. Why not the Port Harcourt High Court? Do you understand what I'm saying? It is true that all the courts in a particular state have the same jurisdiction, monetary, and the territorial wise. But for a case of this kind of stature, like the chairmanship of the PDP, why will you go to the Gema High Court when there are more than 15 high courts in Port Harcourt municipality? And the vacation courts are there. At least in Port Harcourt, there are about 3 vacation courts. I'm aware of that. I have colleagues who are practicing there. You understand? I've been doing some matters there. So I'm surprised. So don't be surprised. I'm not casting aspersion on the judge, but I'm saying that most cases, lawyers locate those kind of judges that are easily pliable to compromise.
Well, by Salkambi, as a member of the NBA, we have seen at least the move by the CJN to clear the audience table, whether justified or otherwise. But on the part of the NBA, are you aware of any plan
Yes.
to also help
Yes.
sanitize the judiciary?
Yes, I'm aware. I'm aware our national vice president spoke, first vice president spoke this morning from Warri on Skype on Channels Television. I watched him before coming here. And the national chairman or the chairman of the NBA, the president of NBA and the entire executive, they have already set up a process in motion to deal with the lawyers, not the judges now, the lawyers, because the NBA has authority only on lawyers, not on the judges. So I'm aware that the NBA is doing something about that.
All right, so we have people who are watching us through our live streaming on Facebook, sending in messages. I want to read two to your hearing before you leave. According to Bayo Amodu on Facebook, he said, corruption is endemic in Nigeria's judiciary. It is not only about the judges. What about the registry? If you want to file a process, you will have to part with something for your process to be able to move. I don't know how true is this, barrister. Have you experienced this before?
No. You want to file something.
You don't spam at the registry.
That's not correct. That's not correct. The truth is that as a lawyer is the registry, as some of you know it, if you are judicial correspondents, you know that the registry is populated by non-lawyers in most cases. Some are just maybe school site holders, some are maybe HND, OND, or even the graduates. However, it is not those senior ones that are in charge of filings in court, because filing, as he's talking about now, is the junior ones.
Okay.
And then when you are filing process, you go to register of the High Court, like in Abuja here, which is a big jurisdiction. You see about 50 lawyers struggling to file. So at times, lawyers on their own appreciate these guys. I don't agree with the fact that they will demand money for them to, because you pay to the bank in most cases. They do it by direct access to the banks. You just pay to the bank, just bring your teller, then they will enter. Then you do it. I'm not sure that is correct. I know that some registry officials or staff are corrupt, but not that when you're filing a process you have to pay. That's not correct. I don't agree with that. Yes.
All right. The same buyer is sending another post, which this is political now. He said, if I were Secondus, I will respect myself and leave now. Under him, the party has lost 3 of its governors to the ruling APC. Several serving and former legislators as well as members of the BOT. Must everybody leave the party before he knows it is time to go? This is politics. I don't know if you
Bayo must be a
dabble.
PDP member.
No, Bayo must be a PDP member.
Yes,
Okay, the comment
like
is actually on our screen for other people to read.
Yeah, Bayo must be a PDP member. Then I thought we were talking justice. I don't think Secondus has done anything too wrong. Under Secondus, too, APC lost governors.
To the PDP. Exactly.
The governor of Edo State was lost to the PDP.
Exactly.
And the governor of Zamfara was lost to the PDP. Oyo was lost to the PDP. Adamawa was lost to the PDP.
In the 2019
election. In fact, Sokoto, I mean, you see the margin between what they call Tambuwal and the other guy that ran. Is it Wamako or who that ran? So you can't say that the man is a total failure. It's not. Because it's not easy to fight incumbency. And this was the first time or so that PDP was fighting an incumbent administration. They were used to being in power. It's not easy. So people are just making noise. It's not easy. The ordinary local government chairman, the kind of powers he exerts and exercises, is not easy. And Nigerians who don't want to suffer. Everybody wants to be in the moving train. So I don't think it's correct. Segundos should be allowed to exercise their legal rights, legal and constitutional rights.
Many thanks to you, Barrister Victor
Yes.
Okambi, for sharing your thoughts with us on this subject.
Thank
And
you,
we hope to see
brother.
more of you
No
at the
problem.
Leadership
brother.
Podcast
No problem,
studio.
Thank you very much.
Winifred-
I appreciate the way your studio and very
Our
one day
digitization process.
you will just be as big as channels and
Exactly. This is just the first step.
Yes.
We are on the way.
Yes.
Winifred,
I
it's time
wish
to
you
go.
the very best.
Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
our guests.
Thank you, and God bless you too. Thank you.
All right, to you listeners out there, make it this with us tomorrow for another edition of Inside Nigeria. My name is Bode Gbadebo. Bye for now.
Bye.